Step 7 is to call the police. And finally, can you imagine calling the police? Under what circumstances would you do it? Some families have not had a good experience with the police and can't rely on them. Others would be ashamed to call them. Are the police an option? Talk it through with your family members. Decide what's possible and under what circumstances. I've worked with families who were worried about involving public authorities. The problem should be kept private, they tell me. And I would challenge this notion. When we think about natural consequences, we think of what would happen to our loved one if we were not there. What would a roommate do, for example, if someone became belligerent or wasn't responsive? Calling the police is one outcome and may be the consequence that embarrasses your loved one to look at what they're doing. The police can also assess whether an emergency room is needed. Let the system into your loved one's life. First responders can help assess the situation and can signal to your loved one that things are serious and that the family is no longer quietly going to deal with the behavior and the drug and alcohol problems in their life. Consider keeping no more secrets. I worked with the parents of a 28-year-old male who was abusing his attention deficit disorder medication and had become delusional. He tore apart his rental car looking for a wire he thought the CIA had planted somewhere. His parents were frightened by how he was acting. He appeared violent and they were scared to approach him. They had never seen him like this. They went back inside and called the police. The police called an ambulance and he was taken to the emergency room. The emergency room admitted him to the psychiatric ward. 3 days later, he was out, unwilling to get additional help. He came home to the car in the driveway with its seats pulled out and the stuffing removed from the back seat. His parents had left the car trashed and sitting in the driveway, despite their embarrassment of what the neighbors might think. Their son was aghast by what he saw. He hadn't believed what they told him he had done. Seeing the car made him agree to voluntarily go into treatment. Like everything in this work, when it comes to natural consequences, you are the judge of what is safe to try, like the decision of calling the police. If your loved one is a public figure and this will hurt their career, and you depend on their career, then perhaps you don't invite the police. But if you're worried about the safety of yourself or your loved one, and the police is not an option, what then is the plan? Do you resort to leaving the house, or do you call the neighbor down the street who could physically handle your loved one if they're out of control? One last thing about the police. In many jurisdictions, the police will do a wellness check. If you're worried about your loved one, they'll stop by where they live, talk to them, and report back to you. Call them beforehand to learn what's involved in your area. The key now is to think all this through by going to your key observation exercises and answering a few questions. Thinking it through ahead of time will lower your anxiety and help you think straight should something happen.